Hello and a warm welcome from climbingarborist.com. My name's Dan Holliday. So I'm bringing you another exciting new retrievable redirect in this video. Super excited for this one. So a couple of weeks ago I brought you the moving rope system eject redirect, which is a retrievable redirect for a moving rope system. Now this one is a retrievable redirect for a stationary rope system. So in my personal opinion, a redirect for stationary rope system is much more useful. I personally would use it in many more situations than a moving rope system redirect. So this one super exciting for me, and I hope for you if you're a climber of stationary rope technique, otherwise known as single rope technique, or stationary rope system should I say, and single rope technique. This one is super exciting because the moving rope system redirect I call the eject redirect. Obviously can't call this one the same thing, so this one's going to be called the SuperFish redirect. I'll kind of show you the setup of this one, and then I'll kind of discuss the intricacies after I've shown you the technique. There's a few different things you can do to try and to make this redirect better in certain situations, but the redirect itself is so simple. All you need is the petzl eject, a carabiner, a prusik loop. That's it. So this one, there's a few other retrievable redirects for stationary rope system, and people come up with all kinds of different unique ideas, great ideas, using different slings, different little captures, release mechanisms, all this kind of stuff. But this one, if you have a petzl eject and you have some a little prusik cord and you can make a prusik loop, then this one is so simple. That is all you need. You don't need anything extra for retrieval, anything like that. So I'll show you the setup of this system. I'm roped in way behind me back there. When I climb up here I get a pretty flat angle, and if I want to do work down here, putting in a redirect would be a great option. There's various different reasons for putting in redirects. I'll go into that after I show you the setup. So throw the end of the webbing over the union that you want to redirect through, and then put it through the adjuster. And next, open the eject and put that through the eye of the webbing strap. Adjust that up tight to the branch, and then you want a prusik on the webbing. So I've got this like thimble prusik. This one's from Sterling, so that was just a prusik that I had. 6 wrap on the webbing, and then put it close to the eject where the webbing strap comes out the side. So that's a pin, that is a rated pin in the eject, and the webbing comes out the side of that. So you want it on the eject side and not on the adjuster side, otherwise it'll pull the adjuster down to the top of the eject. So you want it on the eject side of the webbing. Then I'm going to put a carabiner through that little prusik, and my climbing system is going to go through the carabiner that is on the prusik. So that's going to be my redirect, is going through the carabiner and not going through the eject. So the redirect is going through the carabiner. In this kind of sense, the eject is basically just a webbing strap that you're using for the carabiner, and this is going to make so much sense when I explain how this is going to work. So the redirect, the eject is just a strap then you're putting your rope through the carabiner. And the reason why we're using the eject in the stationary rope system is we just need that eject function for the retrievable part of this redirect. So that means the only thing left to do to make this retrievable is to put the tail through the eject. So you get the end of your tail. Make sure you're putting it through the right way, through the eject. So on the side of the eject, you've got the termination eye, the little symbol on there. So you want the end on the termination eye side of the diagram on your petzl eject. Now, what I would suggest, I mean, people can do whatever they want at this point, but what I would suggest is to put a stopper knot in the tail of your rope. And I'll just demonstrate that now. If you were to try and pull the tail of your rope out, like the stopper knot and the rope, it can't go through the eject, so there's no way that eject can release in this situation. So as long as you got a stopper knot, or you got I don't know, anything big on the end of your tail, it can't pull through that eject. The worst thing that can happen is that your rope can pull up to the eject and you have to climb up and get it. That's the worst thing that can happen, and that's basically making this non-retrievable, because you have to climb up and you know, get your rope back, and at that point you just unhook it anyway. So if that makes sense to you, that if this rope were to pull up against the eject and you're 25 feet lower and you can't pull the tail, well, no, you can pull the tail, but it ain't going through. I'm going to feed that tail down, you know, so it's way down there. So what you need to remember at this point is you're going to descend on this part of the rope. Your tail then comes back up and back down again. So if you descend 20 feet from your redirect point, you go down 20 feet, then your rope goes back up 20 feet and then back down 20 feet so that you can tie on your retrieval ball. So that's 60 feet of rope if you're going down 20 feet, or you know, you can go down much more than that even with less rope. It just means that you'll have to climb back up to a point where you can put your retrieval ball on the tail of your rope. So let's just say, you know, you need 3 times the rope, but in fact you can have anywhere up down to 2 times your rope, but you'll have to climb back up to put your retrieval ball on the tail of your rope. So, and you definitely don't want to have the retrieval ball on the tail of your rope while you're climbing around, because then there is a chance that your rope could kind of work its way back up and pop through and redirect comes off, which is not what we want to happen. So what you need to do when it comes to retrieval is when you're down wherever you decide to retrieve this from, you just need to get the tail of your rope and you just need to tie on the retrieval ball at this point. So I'll tie on the retrieval ball, so when you're ready to retrieve the system, you tie on your retrieval ball and you've probably loosened off your system at that point and lanyard on, and from down there you pull your system and out it comes. So I'm just going to show you that setup again, and then we'll go and retrieve it from further down. So the eject goes over through the adjuster open up the eject, snap the eject closed. At this point, if you're going to use this redirect, on my eject now, I'm going to leave this prusik on there. It is going to stay on there for good, because this is going to come in so handy for me. So you've got your prusik on there, you've got your carabiner on there. I'm going to take my climber rope, put it through, put the tail of your rope through, tie a little stopper knot, and then I'm going to feed that tail down, weight my system, take the weight off my lanyard, and there we go. Make sure you're nice and secure in a comfortable spot. Right, now figure out which end is the tail. It's obviously the one coming from the left side of the eject as you look at it face on. So take out the stopper knot, then find the retrieval ball. There we go, got the retrieval ball, and then I've got the other leg of my rope. Just kind of check that that's not going to slip. Alright, lanyard on, weight off the rope, throw ball on, and then we pull that up nice and steady. Okay, we're going to get close to the eject, and then it should just pop out real easy. So and then it all comes falling back to you. So let go of everything and then just tension up the rope, and then you can sort everything out. So basically take off the eject, clip that back on, clip the eject latch back on again, push up the spring to release the throw ball, take that off, and then we're back to work. So it's as simple as that, really. It's so quick and easy, not much equipment needed for that one. Yeah, that is easy peasy. So I'll be putting that one to use many times. So that's the tail of my rope. So I'm retrieving this one from the ground. Tail of my rope. There we go. Here's a little something that you might want to consider. On the tail of your rope, you might want to put a bit of weight on there. So I've got a little throw ball here, so I'll just connect that to my stopper knot. You can connect it however you like, as long as the weight is going to stay there, and that'll just prevent the tail from accidentally kind of creeping its way up like it would do with a rigging line. Once it gets at a certain point, maybe the weight of the rope will just pull it all the way up. The good thing about the Petzl eject is that because it has that spring on the top, it adds a tiny bit of friction. Not really noticeable, but it does almost just pinch the rope a little bit, so it does stop it creeping like any regular pulley. A little bit less than a regular pulley, should I say. So adding a bit of weight on there might be useful. And then also, if your rope has creeped up, you might be able to just kind of whip it a little bit and encourage it to come back down again. So a little bit of weight. I think if you can carry a 14 or 16 ounce throw weight on your harness, if you think you're going to be doing this redirect, that would be optimal, I reckon. So yeah, just consider that when you're using this redirect. So if you've watched this video and you're still asking yourself, why would I even bother using a redirect? Well, there's many different situations and scenarios where using a redirect is actually going to be more helpful than just trying to kind of muscle your way over somewhere to fight your way against your rope, your main time point, pulling yourself back. So on a day like today, especially, you got snow, we might have icy limbs, icy branches, it might be wet and there's moss and there's slippy. You might be climbing a tree with a really wide spreading canopy but not great time points in the middle, so you might want to redirect, especially if you're dropping down and working a whole side of a canopy, maybe like 1/3 of the tree, and using a redirect you can actually reach a bunch of work that you need to be doing from one redirect, but then you're actually going to move to another part of the canopy. So pulling the retrievable redirect out is actually going to be really helpful rather than going back and collecting it. So scenarios where redirects are really helpful: if you're doing some dead wooding and you need to get right out on the tips of branches, if you're doing some end weight reduction, if you're removing a tree and there's a lot of objects below and you're doing some really careful rigging and you need to get right out into the ends of branches. There's so many different scenarios. With this particular redirect, because it's using the eject, you can choke it around a stem. So if there's an upright stem and there's not really any branches to redirect off or to natural redirect, or if there's like small little branches, you can feel safe in the fact that the petal eject chokes around stems, so you can choke it around a main stem even without really having any side branches, and it's just gonna it's gonna choke on the stem. It's not going to require having big limbs and big unions, big branches to hold it in place. So that is a great benefit of this redirect as opposed to many others you may have seen before. So you can work on you can traverse from tree to tree and then set the redirect. You can work in trees with like an upright form like Lombardy poplar, and you can attach to another stem. So many reasons why you could redirect. Obviously redirects aren't going to become an everyday use in your work unless you're doing that kind of work every day. They're redirects, they're to be used when the right situation arises and when you're going to save yourself some energy, when you're going to be more efficient, and when it's going to make you safer. So safety is a big thing. Using a redirect is going to drop you down on top of the branches that you need to work at. So rather than being pulled back by your main time point, rather than always being pulled back and relying on your lanyard to hold yourself in place, sometimes just having your lanyard to hold yourself in place isn't enough, and you're still being pulled back and you're kind of fighting yourself to keep yourself in position. So having a redirect to drop you right down on top of the work can make you way more comfortable, and then that makes work safer and more efficient on energy saving, because you're not constantly fighting while you're doing the pruning work. You're not worried about being pulled back in, that kind of thing. So yeah, those are just some reasons why you might want to use a redirect. If you're not familiar with the redirects, I really suggest you go out and practice and use them and see where the benefits are going to be for you.